My name is Nassim Sabs.
Let me ask you a question. Has anything ever happened to you that you couldn't explain? That made you feel sort of foolish when you tried to tell somebody about it? Well, if it has, you have plenty of company, as you'll soon see.
What are you doing, Randy?
I'm making a list of rich people with $1 million we can borrow from Joyce bail.
The Beverly Hillbillies.
They're super rich.
They're pretend, Randy. Just like Richie Rich and Donald Trump. They're just TV characters.
I don't think politicians are natural crooks.
Not all of them.
No, I don't think most of them are. I think they are actors. And actors are neither men nor women. Actors belong to a third sex. Actors are actors, and one aspect of it is the political game. But that kind of acting is not lying, as long as it refers to and reflects and exalts the essential, commonly held ideals of a culture. Those performances are part of our culture, even though they are performances, even though some of the actors themselves may be cynical about their performance. But what we have now cannot be excused in those terms.
I believe that my life was saved that day in Butler for a very good reason. I was saved by God to make America great again. I believe that. I walked onto that stage, and I told her I would not forget what she said about her son, and I never did I? Never forgot. Less than 10 minutes later, at that same rally, gunfire rang out, and a sick and deranged assassin unloaded 8 bullets from his sniper's perch into a crowd of many thousands of people. My life was saved by a fraction of an inch, but some were not so lucky. Corey Comparator was a firefighter, a veteran, a Christian, a husband, a devoted father, and above all, a protector. When the sound of gunshots pierced the air, it was a horrible sound. Corey knew instantly what it was and what to do. He threw himself on top of his wife and daughters and shielded them from the bullets with his own body. Corey was hit really hard. You know the story from there. He sacrificed his life to save theirs. 2 others, very fine people, were also seriously hit. But thankfully, with the help of 2 great country doctors, we thought they were gone and they were saved. So those doctors had great talent. We're joined by Corey's wife, Helen, who was his high school sweetheart, and their 2 beloved daughters, Allison and Kaylee. Thank you. To Helen, Allison, and Kaylee, Corey is looking down on his 3 beautiful ladies right now, and he is cheering you on. He loves you. He is cheering you on. Corey was taken from us much too soon, but his destiny was to leave us all with a shining example of the selfless devotion of a true American patriot. It was love like Corey's that built our country, and it's love like Corey's that is going to make our country more majestic than ever before. I believe that my life was saved that day in Butler for a very good reason. I was saved by God to make America great again. I believe that. Thank you. Thank you.
The Secret Service is under intense scrutiny following the attempted assassination of Donald Trump at his Pennsylvania campaign rally 1 week ago. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle is set to testify before the House Oversight Committee on Monday. The committee's Republican Chairman James Comer and Ranking Democrat Jamie Raskin rejected Cheadle's request to testify later in the week. In a statement, Comer called the shooting an historic security failure on the part of the Secret Service.
Received this Facebook screenshot from a viewer who asked us to look into its claims. Someone wrote, "Are you ready for a heaping helping of truth? Those so-called high school students seen on camera speaking on TV are not students. They're crisis actors, especially David Hogg." Among the images is a screenshot of Hogg being interviewed by the CBS station in Los Angeles. Under his name it says witness. Some fringe websites have claimed he was at another crime scene. But this report from KCBS shows he was interviewed last summer as part of a much more mundane story. It was about a dispute he and a friend had with a lifeguard about a boogie board. A video that Hogg shot of the confrontation went viral in LA.
He said, "I didn't know it was a crime to put your board on the trash can," because he just didn't want it to get sandy.
The claims that Hogg and other students are actors helping to promote anti-gun legislation have spread far and wide in cyberspace and elsewhere.
I was a witness to this. I'm not a crisis actor. I'm somebody that had to witness this and live through this, and I continue to have to do that.
We rate the claim.
My name is Brian DeLallo. I teach AP and Honors Economics in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Financial well-being to me is knowing that I can be free to do the things that I love to do. I hope when I retire someday, they say that guy made this place a special place to come to school and gave as much as he could to help the community.
This is the shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks. The ad is from 2023. What in the world is going on?
Let's go check in with Alexis McAdams again. She's been there on the ground as all of this occurred and has talked to a number of witnesses and people who I'm sure, Alexis, are still in a bit of a state of shock.
Yeah, and that includes who we're talking to right now, Blake, who you were inside. We actually talked with him, Shannon, earlier when you were doing special coverage. You were up on the stage, we grabbed you up, and then we all got pushed out by Secret Service. But walk me through what happened. You were really close. You're a delegate for former President Trump, so you were pretty close to that stage. What'd you hear?
Well, I was listening to him. He was talking, and I think he had the slide up on the big screen about how immigration has increased under Biden. And as I was watching him, I heard what I thought were just a noise. I was hoping it was a joke. I didn't know if it was fireworks.
I tried to talk with people who were inside of that rally, Bill. I'm just going to check in with people as we develop here live with this coverage. So you were inside. What exactly did you hear and what did you see?
So we heard something that sounded like a firecracker, and we turned around and...
At first, the noises we heard, it sounded like a firecracker, the little things you throw at the ground, usually around July 4th.
More in the beginning, hearing. 5 shots, 6 shots, kind of hard to count them all. Firecrackers, basically, that because of the 4th of July.
It was rather chaotic at that point because half the people were looking because they thought it was fireworks.
Can you please tell us what happened, Joseph?
Yeah, it was the Trump. I was attending the rally. It seemed initially like firecrackers went off.
Well, we were standing on the chairs watching President Trump speak. And
walk me through what happened. You were really close. You're a delegate for former President Trump, so you were pretty close to that stage. What'd you hear?
Well, I was listening to him. He was talking, and I think he had the slide up on the big screen about how immigration has increased under Biden. And as I was watching him, I heard what I thought were just a noise. I was hoping it was a joke. I didn't know if it was fireworks.
I tried to talk with people who were inside of that rally, Bill. I'm just going to check in with people as we develop here live with this coverage. So you were inside. What exactly did you hear and what did you see?
So we heard something that sounded like a firecracker, and we turned around and...
At first, the noises we heard, it sounded like a firecracker, the little things you throw at the ground, usually around July 4th.
More in the beginning, hearing. 5 shots, 6 shots, kind of hard to count them all. Firecrackers, basically, because of the 4th of July.
It was rather chaotic at that point because half the people were looking because they thought it was fireworks.
Can you please tell us what happened, Joseph?
Yeah, it was the Trump. I was attending the rally. It seemed initially like firecrackers went off.
Well, we were standing on the chairs watching President Trump speak, and I saw him go down, but I also was hearing shots that sounded like fireworks.
And you will excuse me, I don't want to interrupt you. I'm so sorry because I know that you are so upset, but I would like to talk to you for a minute. It's a little bit awkward, so the camera shots will have to fall as they may. I'm going to stand right here, and maybe somebody can give me a chair while we're doing this. May I have your name, please, sir?
Bill Newman.
And this is Mrs. Newman?
Yes, sir.
And this is?
James Clayton.
James, and this is?
Billy.
Billy, tell me what you saw and what you felt. What happened to you?
We just come from left field after seeing the President and the First Lady, and we were just in front of the triple underpass on Elm Street, and we were at the edge of the curve, getting ready to wave at the President. So
you were down under the viaduct, so to speak, weren't you?
Well, we were halfway in between
on the grass,
the triple underpass. We were at the curb when the incident happened, but the President's car was some 50 feet still yet.
In front of you?
In front of us, coming towards us, and we heard the first shot, and the President, I don't know who was hit first, but the President jumped up in his seat, and I thought it scared him. I thought it was a firecracker, because he looked, fear. And then as the car got directly in front of us, well, a gunshot apparently from behind us hit the President in the side of the temple.
Do you think the first gunshot came from behind you, too?
I think it came from the same location. Apparently back up on the mall. I don't know what you call it.
For the benefit of nomenclature, all you folks have gone out under the viaduct, and as you turn, you're a housewife.
Yes, sir.
Took the day off to come downtown and see the President?
Yes, sir, we did. We wanted our children to see it.
Mm-hmm. Were you in the line of fire? I remember vividly whenever I walked over and looked over the banister there and saw across the street that you were down on the ground so that to keep out of the line of fire. What was the first thought that struck your mind?
Oh, I thought it was a firecracker, and I saw the blood, and I had the baby, and I just ran, and I got on top of him and laid on the grass. It just scared me. It was terrible.
Did you see anyone else hit besides the...
Governor Conley was kind of turned to the side, and he grabbed his stomach.
Mrs. Nunley.
No, Newman.
Newman. I've been calling you. I'm sorry. I don't even remember my own name, really.
It's terrible.
Tell me what happened.
We were standing next to the curb so the children could see the President, and the car was just up a piece from us, and this shot fired out, and I thought it was a firecracker.
I don't know who was hit first, but the President jumped up in his seat, and I thought it scared him. I thought it was a firecracker.
What was the first thought that struck your mind?
Oh, I thought it was a firecracker.
We heard something that sounded like a firecracker, and we turned around and...
At first, the noises we heard, it sounded like a firecracker.
He was also a Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy when he was just a boy, and now he wants to carry on the family legacy of service. Jason is a senior in high school, a 6-letter varsity athlete, a really good athlete, they say, a brilliant student with a 4.46, that's good, GPA. And his greatest dream is to attend the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. And Jason, that's a very big deal getting in. That's a hard one to get into. But I'm pleased to inform you that your application has been accepted. You will soon be joining the Corps of Cadets. Got to stop it. They get out with 28 arrests. They push people into subway trains. They hit people over the head, back of the head with baseball bats. We got to get them out of here. I've already signed an executive order requiring a mandatory death penalty for anyone who murders a police officer. And tonight I'm asking Congress to pass that policy into permanent law.